There you are. Oh, I thought we'd have to do the show without you, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting will be a thrill. Grandpa and chill, grandson and friends. Podcasting Grandpa and chill will be a thrill. Grandson and friends. With your hosts, Grandpa Barton, Brandon Fox, Phines Jackson, and Sierra Dawes. This is Grandpa and Chill.
All right.
All right.
I was waiting for you to hit the remote on your ring light.
Yeah.
I can get it. It's downstairs. You
No,
want me
you
to?
don't have to.
No,
Okay.
no.
That's what I thought you meant. I was excited.
Yeah,
No,
that's what.
I had like background.
I'll bring
shadow.
mine. I'll bring mine next time, and when we
Okay.
can both have our ring lights. Be fancy. I've been recording, so I'm ready to roll. I also like that this is the first time I've like actually recorded early to like be prepared.
Yeah, we didn't say anything.
We didn't talk at all, but we had no problems.
Well, Grandpa got himself on.
Yeah, he's ready to rumble.
I did.
Yeah.
We did.
That was just plain luck.
You said, "Hold on, let me get myself onto this thing," and that was the first time you were ever already on. You didn't even know it.
He said, "Let me handle this shit."
I've been working on learning a editing program for video, and it's like hundreds of pages of nomenclature that I am not familiar with.
Yeah.
What are you using?
Scissors.
Pardon? Which program?
Yes.
It's called Resolve.
Oh yeah.
It's scissors. What is it?
That's what they used to do before you could digitally edit
I
it.
bought a Black Magic camera. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It does cinema quality. I bought a 6K Black Magic. So,
dang.
And the camera learning it is not too difficult, but the editing,
yeah,
it's called DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah, I've been meaning. I downloaded it. I've been meaning to try to start using it.
Really? Well, if you learn it, let me know.
I will.
When I actually do some shoots, I'll try to get you maybe to do some editing for me because it's quite a complete program.
I've heard really good things about it, and it's like really good things, and like people are very surprised that it's free. And
oh wow,
yeah, like there's a paid version of it, but like you can get a lot of like the really good features for free.
They've done a lot of regular feature films using it.
Yeah,
using that editing program, so it should be pretty good. And but it takes there's a learning curve.
Yeah. So delightful.
How long have you been playing around with it?
Well, I've only had the camera for a couple of weeks, so I've pretty much learned the camera. The camera's only like 50 pages of things to learn, but I don't know it all. I probably know 50% of it of the camera. But there's things like for me the editing is difficult because I have a problem with tints and hues and saturation, and there's like so many things that you have to visually be able to see it, and I don't know that I have that artistic ability for visually.
Oh, so, you know what? Your perspective is your artistic vision. Whatever you think it looks right, is the art.
But you can't see
even if
it,
no
right?
one else does, so.
You said what?
I said even if no one else thinks so.
Yeah, that makes it even more niche and cool.
Okay, all right.
If Tyler Perry can do it, that's what I've chosen to live by.
Wait, does Tyler Perry use the same song? What is Tyler Perry doing?
Tyler Perry can do whatever he wants, and that's been my motto this year. You know.
You can one of the most well-known editing programs is called ProRes, and that's used quite a bit. But this one is was developed by Blackmagic Design, and it's a very good program. It's just that it takes a while.
I'm sure you'll get it.
Pardon?
I'm sure you'll get it.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. The more you fool around with it, the easier it gets. And like knowing what you want also just makes it easier. A lot of editing is just your own choices.
And Brandon, aren't you working on programming?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh no.
Sounds like a success story.
I don't know why I've been Googling death by 1,000 cuts so much recently, and I think I just put it together. But it's when someone is a great war criminal, like they killed the leader or whatever, instead of executing them, they would tie them to a post and just take out a little piece of their flesh, and that's what it feels like.
Oh no.
Sounds morbid to me.
Yeah, but it's great. It's awesome. It's what
Phines, are you working on anything outside of whatever you normally do? Do you have any like hobbies, or what are you up to?
What am I up to? I'm reading a book called Erotic Stories for Punjabi Women, Punjabi Widows. It's really good. I enjoy that. I just finished like Fun Home, which is short for a funeral home. It's like by Alice Bechtel. It's a graphic novel about a girl lives in that grew up like with a father that ran a funeral home. And that was pretty good and dark. I love dark stuff. Whatever when someone dies.
Did you read that on your podcast?
No, that's a graphic novel. I don't want to. It takes away the whole audio podcast wouldn't work for that.
Oh, that's true.
I am reading Franz Kafka stuff too, those short stories. But I read a short story today. What was it called? What was the short story today? Oof, put me on. Let's see.
Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Oh boy, we got a whole episode.
If Franz Kafka wrote Ricky Tikki Tavi, that would be hilarious because it would make no sense. I'm sure. But let's see. I drew a picture. Let me see. I got it somewhere. Ugh. It's getting pretty good.
Ooh.
Whoa.
You're a really good cartoonist artist.
Delightful.
Thank you. I'm going to paint it sometime.
Put it up again. I hardly had time to see it. How cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thanks.
It looks like Yogi Bear and Boo, or whatever the sidekick is. Like he could be one of the characters in that world for sure.
Oh, what was that Disney show with like the big bear?
The Barton bear?
It's like a giant ass puppet bear. Hold on.
I know the cartoon bear who had a bunch of different animal friends.
Big bear. Big bear. Wait. Bear in the Big Blue House.
You know what he looks like to me? He looks like a bigger version of. Do you remember Cordru? Cordu? Kudroy. Yeah, like a bigger version of that. Like this is That's Kudrow.
Yes, I remember him, and I had like some little corduroy pants, and I was like, "Man, these are the best pants in town."
Corduroy, there it is.
Buying more pants, and then I was like, "Mom, where are my corduroy pants?" She's like, "Sierra, you're 14. Stop it." Good times, good times.
I mean, I like overalls. I used to like wearing those as a kid. I haven't worn them since I've been an adult, but it sounds really cool to have those.
When I was working on campus over the summer, we brought back overalls, and I bought my first pair ever in life. They're really comfortable.
You should name your character Overalls.
Okay, there it is.
All the characters should just be named after what pants they're wearing.
Yeah. What other show
would be
like
named Nothing.
There is on Pokemon, the animated series. I think some of their characters are named after underpants. Where there's Ash Ketchum. That's Nothing. There's Professor. I think
Dragon Ball.
Oh, is it Dragon Ball? Yeah, because it's
Bulma is supposed to have something to do with like
bloomers. Yeah,
and like
yeah.
her daughter's name is Bra.
There it is. Yes,
I think her
they're
mom's
all
name is Panty. Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
all undergarments. Yes, as
Dragon Ball names are the funniest thing ever.
they are.
Everyone's named after undergarments and vegetables.
Yeah, trying to think of something interesting else. I listened to a podcast about the biological anthropology of like apes. So it's talking about female apes in general. It's talking about how their menstrual cycle and compared to human menstrual cycles and like the difference between apes and us and all that stuff like that. It was really cool. I learned quite a bit.
I've
Yeah,
never thought about that.
we're so close to them, but
I'm glad you haven't thought about that because
And now I have like 18,000 questions. I've never really thought about any other animal's menstrual cycle, but now I have
yeah,
like 1,000
so
questions.
interesting,
Are
man.
we
It is
like the
crazy.
shittiest animals with like the shittiest menstrual cycles?
Yeah, I
Because
bleed the most.
I was gonna say like there'd be blood all over the jungle. Like we
Yeah.
must just have the shittiest menstrual cycle I've ever. That's so interesting. What is it called?
It was called Biological Anthropology. Sexy Apes is what the in parentheses, but
Sexy
it's
apes.
by Ellie Ward. It's called Ologies. They just talk about different some scientist comes on each episode about what specific ology they have, and today that episode happened to be about just female apes.
Sexy
So
apes.
Coincidentally, I was watching a animal program yesterday, and it was a young woman sitting there, and an orangutan put his arms around her right on her breasts and gave her a big kiss.
Uh oh.
yeah,
yeah,
Straight to HR with that one.
I
yeah,
was hearing about on another podcast how like the apes um like there was this woman who bought one as a baby and he was so cute and nice and then he grew up and she'd have friends over and he'd get really territorial and jealous. And then one time her friend came over, this lady, and the lady, the friend of the owner said like, "Hey, you have to stop feeding him whiskey and giving him like sleeping
Cigars.
pills."
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hilarious.
And so she was trying to convince the owner not to, and the ape caught wind and like attacked her and like ripped her face off and bit off her fingers and stuff
Oh my
like
God.
that.
Is that the
People are
bitch that was on
gruesome.
Oprah?
I didn't hear this from Oprah, but I'm sure
Like,
it
is this
sounds
the
like it would
famous
be on
bitch
Oprah.
from like several years ago who
This is a
famously got
while
her
ago.
face ripped off?
I mean, this really specifically was a lady who told her friend to stop feeding her ape sleeping pills and whiskey, and so the ape ripped her face off. I mean, this happens all the time. Like it's very like they're wild animals, you know. You can't
Like, you need to be more
fucking
specific. Which alcoholic primate rips someone's face
whiskey
off?
and sleeping pills. I don't know how many
Oh
there
my.
could be.
Well, I've never heard that part of the story before. I've always just heard that there was some stupid lady who had like a chimp or something as a pet and it ripped her friend's face off. That's the part I always heard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was
Here's
another one.
here's the ape's point of view. It's like they try to take away my pills
Right,
and my
there we go.
fucking whiskey.
Here's the real story. Isn't
It's
that
true.
right?
That's what happened. I mean,
Yeah,
fucking.
that's
I mean, it's basically human. You know, it's like you're depriving it of. It's
me in
it's a
quarantine.
happy time. Yeah.
Do
That's
we have any particular subject that we're going to discuss this evening, or
What do you want to talk about, Grandpa?
I haven't? I don't have any ideas right now.
Nothing. What about you, Finest? What are you or Sierra?
Let me try to tie in all our interests. Let me see. Okay, political wise, what have I been focusing on? Trump is bringing people out of Iraq, which is, the pros and cons of that. Um, he hasn't conceded yet. That's boring. No, no. Trying to think what else. What is there? See,
Yeah, Grandpa doesn't seem engaged by that. Surprising.
I still
Well,
haven't. I still. You said what? Go ahead, Grandpa.
I said that's not true. I'm always interested in politics. I don't know if it's a good idea for our podcast, but I'm always interested in it.
I thought we swore never again after last week.
Oh, okay.
No, it's okay.
I
It's
think
okay. We
Sierra
can talk about politics.
begged never again.
Yeah, I did very vehemently.
But all right. What were you saying, Finest?
Trying to think of something. Hmm. What did I talk about recently?
Are you guys getting out at all, doing any traveling, or just
Oh
pretty much staying in?
hell no, no, no,
I'm
Yeah,
no.
literally quarantining.
because like literally quarantining because you're forced to it, or are you just doing it
No,
because
I'm sick. I'm sick.
oh
Yeah.
this is news
Oh,
to me.
were you
Oh,
not?
he
Were
yeah,
oh,
he
you
went
weren't
through.
on. Yeah, dude. I got tested for coronavirus Monday because I woke up Monday morning and I had the coding boot camp and I like woke up early and I like couldn't move. I felt really sick and I was like, fuck, I need to go to a rapid test like right now. And it ended up I have tonsillitis, like a bacterial infection, so I'm on antibiotics.
Yeah.
But the both COVID tests were negative, and like some of the symptoms overlap. But he says like, yeah, your tonsils are really swollen. Like that's not really a symptom of COVID, but like I'm still quarantining just because like it's not a good time to be around people
You're a high
sick.
risk boy. You're a high risk. You're a high
Do
risk.
you have any indication as to whether or not
I'm always high
it's
risk.
just going to
Yeah,
go
it's
away,
true.
or you would need to be operated on, have your tonsil removed?
Grandpa. I hope not. No. He just gave me antibiotics, so I'm on amoxicillin, and then I got what is it, 6 more days of the pills left, but I feel much better. I mean, I was scared Monday that I wasn't going to be able to log on to the podcast because I couldn't speak. I mean, I was in a lot of
Mm,
pain, but I got like a whole box of drugs right here,
there you
and
go.
Wow.
you know what I'm interested in is I mean, we literally have not talked about the coronavirus on a single episode, like as a topic.
Hmm.
Should we do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's like haha fun, but I think it like when I
Anything can be
listen
ha fun.
Yeah, not with that
when
attitude,
Phines
Barton.
is talking about it.
There we go.
but like I don't know, when I listen to stuff about it that's like honest, it feels comforting. But I don't know. We don't have to.
I'm just getting Aisha flashbacks. I'm gonna be honest.
No, no, I don't want to talk about coronavirus conspiracy. No, none of that shit at
Well,
all.
if it comes with the territory, we
Grandpa
talk
was
about
not there for that.
if we
When you
talk
get
about
when you get strangers that you never, yeah, I guess everything fucking devolves into conspiracy theories on this podcast, but not from us. But
oh, okay. You know what? COVID does it covers so much though. It right because it does cover politics as well. When you talk about it, so we're touching on lots of different things, and it comes from animals, so it feels my need
There you
as
go.
well.
There you go.
we talk about animals a lot, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
not enough,
This is an
but
animal
yeah.
Well,
pet
I
friendly
love
podcast.
animals. I worked with animals. What?
Ricky Tikky Tavi.
well,
Yeah.
regarding COVID, do you think that we should have like a complete lockdown, or just basically do like we're doing right now in different areas, cutting back on the number of people that can go into a restaurant or whatever, meet together, or should we have something more severe?
What do you think, Grandpa?
I think it's very difficult in this country to force people to totally stay indoors and not go out at all. Um, but certainly they should. I certainly think they should wear a mask, and I don't know why that's ever become a political issue at all. Uh,
Why do you think it's so hard here?
well, people, I guess they want their freedom. I think I mentioned on an earlier podcast that I had met a lady from China who was being sent back to the country. She worked in biotech, and this was back in February. And she told me then that what was going on in China, and that people had to stay indoors. They even delivered the food to them. That they weren't going to do that. They'll never do it in the U.S., and that we're going to have much more issues, much more problems from it.
Yeah,
And at that time, it just went in one ear and out the other. I hardly understood what she was talking about.
yeah. I heard like Belgium even pays their artists. Like if you're a freelance artist, they gave you people money so they could live. Um, I think that we should be inside the house. Yeah, I think people should be. I think we should be on lockdown. If I had to be, if it was up to me, just until we figure some things out, or at least until flu season is over, because the hospital's already at like it's already busy during flu season. There's no reason that
Ooh,
those. What's
I
up?
got a question. Vaccine comes out tomorrow. Are you taking it?
No.
No.
Then
Yes.
what the fuck are we all doing?
Let
Like,
me tell you
What you mean? We just.
something.
I don't know what you mean.
we're all like, oh man, fuck this lockdown. Like,
That's, that's not.
we
That's
gotta
not.
wait for the vaccine.
Oh
That's.
no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Stop! Oh no! I messed up. I messed up. Brandon. Brandon. Oh my god. Brandon, I'm so sorry. I accidentally hit X. I'm so sorry. You have to open up the clean. Brandon, listen to me. Brandon, listen to me. You have to open the clean feed back up. I accidentally hit X. I'm so sorry.
I thought we're on, aren't we?
I know. I hit the wrong button. I'm so
Oh.
sorry. I'm
On.
so
I can
sorry.
hear. I can hear
Yeah, I
Sierra.
can hear everybody.
I,
Yeah.
I I X'd out Brandon while
But
he was
Oh,
talking on
Brandon's
accident.
X'd out.
I'm
Oh, okay.
so
I'll give him a
sorry.
call. Hold on.
Oh,
He's
no, I'm back.
I'm
I'm back.
so
Okay.
sorry. Oh
But
my
you didn't.
god.
You just exited me out, not
I
anybody
was
else.
okay, so I was trying to hit the little gear to make sure that everybody was on no headphones and I hit the X on accident. I'm so sorry.
I feel like
It wasn't even worth it. I just like X'd your whole argument. I'm so sorry.
Well, Sierra, who do
pro-vaxxer stance.
I don't know.
No, it's not that. I mean, I feel like I feel like I never said that I was like, oh, poor lockdown. I'm okay with lockdown.
Mhm.
I'm okay with staying at home.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah, I didn't mean you, like you, just the general consensus I'm getting from people of like we have to be in lockdown until the vaccine comes, and then once the vaccine comes, everything, like, we can start getting back to normal. But it's like, what's the point of a vaccine if most people aren't going to take it?
well, I think most people will take it.
They're gonna have to mandate it at
Yeah.
some point.
I mean, when I was a kid, and maybe when you were kids, I don't know. It was mandated that you had to have shots for diphtheria and
mm-hmm.
yellow fever, jaundice. We got several different vaccinations uh, when I was a kid before you could go to school.
Were you alive for smallpox?
Yeah, that's when we had the vaccination for that.
Was that mandatory? Because that's the
Yes.
only, I was reading last night, smallpox is the only disease only virus I think we've ever eradicated that was a pandemic.
Right.
Ever.
And yeah, and they did eradicate it, and it was required that you had it was the Emancipation Proclamation said the Board of Education you must have a vaccination.
Ooh.
I mean, I take a vaccine after a little bit, like after I see other people
Turn into
take
zombies.
it.
I'm gonna need a
Mm,
WHO approved vaccine.
I just, and who am I to take it? I'm just staying at home in lockdown. Let's just give the people that need it. Let me chill out, and I'll watch from behind too. I'll be like, oh wow, no new legs, no nothing. Okay, well maybe I need to take it too.
Nothing like that. It just takes away your sexuality, but that doesn't matter.
That's so small in the grand scheme of things.
And I'm in quarantine, so it's fine.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna need a European Union approved vaccine or something, or something else. I don't know.
There's a claim that China had a vaccine almost immediately after the virus was known.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been reading that on Google.
That'd be hilarious, kind of like if they just, well, not hilarious, not like haha hilarious, but like if you really like made the vaccine like that and then just refused to share it. Like they're not even trying to sell it like we are. Like they just wouldn't share it.
Is that what that article was saying, Grandpa? That they didn't share it?
Well, it also said that that you don't have as strong a resistance to the COVID virus as you do with the ones that have been developed by Moderna and Pfizer and Johnson and so forth.
Mm.
But yeah, but they actually found out what the sequence of the DNA was right away for the virus in China.
Well,
Yeah.
sounds like we should probably learn
I
a different
realized
language.
something today that when you don't have contact with people, it's kind of gloomy in a way. When you don't have more social interaction with other people, it, life is not as bright for you.
Yeah. I came to a similar realization that I really like adoration. I like to be loved, you know? I like it. And I need people for that. Can't just be loving myself. I need people to love me.
I
So
demand
that
loyal subjects.
all the time. And it's a power hungry thing too. I wrote that. I was like, man, I bet that's like I wonder if I get it, it's like a hole that never be filled. Like at first I'm like, oh, I like that you love me, but sooner or later I'm like, I need you to start praying to me. Okay. Sacrifice your first. Because yeah, I don't know though, but yeah. All that being said, I need community for people to love and to love me back. So I can understand that being by yourself is kind of lame.
Yeah. Are you still back working full time?
Yeah, I am.
Does it make it a lot more normalized or easier to deal with all this stuff, or
Now, if I was to be honest, it makes me a little more cynical of humanity because I wonder why it's so busy and why um, people are like going about their business so normally and just it seems like I guess a little bit of it too is like I wish customers would read the room a little bit, like understand that essential workers there, but they kind of like it just going like a normal day, so they're acting like really like normal, but it's weird because I'm like, it's dangerous that you're here, and it's dangerous that you're putting me in a situation too, and
Hmm.
it's just really weird, and it's very also I find it kind of hypocritical when I hear customers. I've told this last time, but customers go, "Oh my God, there's so many people here. Oh my God, why there's so many people here?" And I'm like, "Cause you bought a ticket. Well, just don't come. You're
yeah,
part of the issue." Um, I know people trying to find normalcy in life, and they want like things to go back to normal, so they're trying to figure things out. But I say get over it because things ain't going back to normal, and you just got to figure it out. Tough cookies. Things could be a lot worse. Just
so
take this.
do you wish it was shut down again?
Yeah, yeah. I don't feel safe. I don't think the customers there are safe. I don't think that it's safe for the humanity. Capitalism makes the world go around apparently, but people are capital. So if you don't care about them, then what's gonna happen?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem very long term. Doesn't seem like a good idea. If I was capitalism, I would probably be like, we need to keep these people that spend money alive. So let's just wait.
Where are you hoping things go from here with that job?
Um, I don't care about the job. I mean, I care. I care about working and making money, but I care about the job. I care about the job, but I'm gonna work whatever. I'm just gonna work. I'm never not gonna be working. Like even if this quarantine goes down, I'm unemployed for a little bit. I'm gonna work at some point in my life. So I'm just like whatever. And then if I work a different job, then I will. But at least I'll be alive, and so will my family and friends. So that's more of a concern than the job. Yeah. I only do the job for people in general. I only work because I like people, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, they should probably shut it down.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. The
Yes.
only reason that we're not locked down right now is because the individual states can't afford to pay us to stay inside, because the only way that we can stay inside like we need to is if we can pay for shit without going out and killing ourselves. like Illinois has no money. Like they can't pay for like all the several millions of us to stay the hell at home, which and that's why we still haven't closed down like the restaurants and the bars and stuff because that's so many different you get so much shit from like small business owners, wait staff all over the state, like servers, all those people that like even when they were doing like what do you call it? Like curbside takeout for a while. People were just doing curbside takeout because you couldn't eat inside or outside for a while. And like that sort of helped, but it didn't really help because that business is gone. Maybe I saw this on Twitter earlier this week, but somebody was saying how they're like, I'm a small business owner or I have a restaurant or whatever, and I want the shit to just close. I want us to just all just close because even this little half measure of us trying to have 50% capacity filled or just eating outside, like that's not enough to pay the bills for my business. Like that's obviously not, or we would have been doing that from the beginning, just having like 50% capacity and all that stuff. Like these half measures aren't helpful, and it's not helpful for me to stay operating at half capacity for several months, for like almost a year. Like that doesn't help my business. Like we should just close everything down, everybody stay the hell home, so that we can all open at full capacity and go back on with our matters, with our business. And that's the only reason I feel like I'm pretty sure that's the only reason the restaurants and bars are still open here in Illinois, is because we can't afford to shut everything down again.
Yeah, I think there's some greed involved. Go ahead. What you have to say, Grandpa? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say it's unfortunate because the federal government obviously can borrow money. We've borrowed lots of it, but state and local governments can't. And they're going to be in a lot of problems. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. And this administration is not giving out any more money. And it's really needed right now, I think.
For like no reason.
It definitely is a. I mean, I've always thought that the Trump was not a good fellow, but man, this is pretty much on like one of those pretty big ends of like not showing very much consideration for his people that he claims to be president of, when he's more concerned with his presidency and how legitimate everything was compared to people losing their lives and people getting sick and being a pandemic. He fired someone today for saying that the it was a fair fight. It was a fair, and he was like, "You're fired. Don't ever say some bullshit like that.
Don't ever talk to me or my son again.
Don't ever talk to." And then the people in the background going, "We're dying. We need COVID. We need help. We need help." He's like, "Shut up. Recount.
Let them eat cake."
Yeah, they won't get help until they recount every vote, and there's more Trump votes than there anybody else. You want some money, you poor motherfuckers.
I haven't heard.
I think the only thing that Trump is interested in is watching out for his own behind.
Yeah,
I haven't heard about this story. What happened
with the guy
he fired? Yeah.
He's like an election official. Yeah. He's the guy that says this. He was in charge of the election investigation or something, and he like determined this is the safest ass election in U.S. history because you guys, how much you guys were, how even though you won in 2016, you were still bitching for the last 3 years about how it was really unfair. Yeah, we checked and made sure none of that shit would happen this time. So it was really fair.
And Trump was like, "Get the fuck out. Pack everything up in your bag. Tell your family goodbye."
He said, "Say that again. I dare you."
I hope you can support your family on welfare. Get out of here.
I thought I read somewhere that he got fired by tweet. I'm pretty sure I think that was what happened. Like it was.
I read that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Classic Comey. Was it Comey that read about it on the news, or was it somebody else?
Yeah. Well, anybody that's ethical doesn't last very long in this administration.
Grandpa, what would you say or do if Trump walked in the room behind you right now?
He opened a cage.
I would tell him that I think that he's a career criminal.
Zing.
I don't know. Yeah, that'd be a tough one. What would I say to Trump?
I
Yeah,
would
what
not
would
say
you do if he
anything.
walked in that door right behind you just now, Phines?
I don't want to say it on on record. I probably can
Go
get
something yourself and whatever.
a good ransom for him.
Boy, you're on a watch list now.
Yeah, right.
That's how we'll know the podcast is picking up traction. Is when Phines
Yeah,
gets put on a watch list.
We're gonna add that to our Twitter bio. Made it on the watch list.
Honestly, I'd probably get chump change for that dude if I had him over. I have your president tied up in my room. They'd be like, and
Melania would be like, I have no money.
but it is really serious and a shame because most of us are managing to get through okay, but there's people out there that are really in trouble
Yeah.
and they're not getting the help that they need. And especially if you have young children, it's a sad situation.
it is.
It's crazy. And like, remember when everybody started buying toilet paper because of like a poorly translated rumor from China? Like, what?
Is that where that came from? That came from
Yeah, like it was either Europe or China. Like somebody was saying how, I think it was in China, because the same it was like the same material that they were using to make masks was also being processed to make toilet paper, and so they were having a shortage of toilet paper, and somebody retained that information and then sharded it out as, there's not going to be any toilet paper if coronavirus comes here. Like, I don't even, like, diarrhea is not a symptom. I don't think, like, there's no reason for that to be the
it
case.
didn't make logical sense.
But everybody did it, and then there wasn't any toilet paper, and I was like, can you imagine? Like, I didn't run out of toilet paper, but I was like, I can't even imagine not having this very basic thing. Like,
Now I just imagine really rich people wrapping their face with toilet paper, and they're like,
and
"This is
people were,
protected."
yeah, and people were
Look at my Halloween
that happened.
costume.
People were on TikTok playing with their spare toilet paper. I'm like, they're literally children and like grown people that have to like go to work and can't wipe their ass. Like, that's crazy.
I feel like we didn't see a lot of Halloween mummies this year.
It's high quality, yeah. That's what we need
One
for days.
One of the problems with toilet paper, what I read, is that the paper that comes in that you buy for your home is different than the paper that restaurants and commercial and industrial places use. It's cut on different equipment and so forth, and there was just a much greater demand for stuff in the home and not as much demand for the other paper, and they couldn't switch over to make the other type of rolls. So that was part of the issue. But I understand now that there's issues. They're starting to come back with the toilet paper and the sanitizers and so forth.
Yeah,
because people getting afraid again, and they're just buying a bunch of stuff.
I'm feeling nervous. Let me buy all the freaking Charmin I can find.
It's all we know, right? Capitalism.
I thought it was hemorrhoids because they're nervous.
Fear and Cottonelle. Like, why?
I want to be shitting so much during this quarantine. I'm gonna be so nervous.
Like, they're not buying more soap. Like, they're not buying. I can't live like.
They should get those wipes because those are probably better for your butt if you're pooping that much.
Exactly. Well, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Babies need that. Don't go spamming and stocking up on baby wipes either.
Your opinion on babies always changes. Sometimes you want to beat them.
No, I never said that.
All right, this is
been an interesting journey. Yeah, Sierra's relationship with babies.
No,
I remember. Didn't you turn the sprinklers on them?
I wanted to hose down bioterrorists in my community. Very different. Very different. Counterterrorism,
baby
child
bioterrorists,
abuse, not the same.
What about the little kids that are going trick or treating and you want to put the sprinkler on them?
They might get the sprinkler. The parent, like 20 feet behind, definitely getting the hose. They know better.
Okay.
Very different situations. But babies do need wipes. One thing worse than a baby with COVID is a baby who desperately needs a wipe that they don't have.
Hey,
just get a spray bottle.
I wanted to ask you, What happened with your stock situation?
Well, I took a big beating in one particular stock. Is that what you're talking about?
You
Financial stock?
sold last week, right? You
I did,
sold
I
every
did,
when
and
it hit its
I don't
lowest
want to
point.
look at it. I'm like, the bird that buries his head in the sand. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Did you buy more again, or you just left
No,
it
no,
at
no,
the?
no. I'm not going to go back into it. The average. I don't know whether you guys are interested in finances at all, but the stock market, the average company or stock used to sell for approximately 17, 20 times earnings. Zoom, which I should have looked at before I ever bought it, was selling for like 500 and sometimes earnings. In other words, for every $100 that you had invested in it, it would earn $1, which is a very, very low figure. So, that's what it earned. That's not even what the stockholder would get back. So it's a very risky situation, but they are growing tremendously, Zoom. But they're just so high, the price of it relative to its
Do you
value.
ever gamble?
Well, that is a gamble in the market in any in securities of that nature. But when you say gamble, I don't know exactly. I gamble all the time. Every time I drive my car, it's a gamble. But if you're referring to the horse races or cards or things of that nature, like in the casinos, the answer is no.
Got you.
I
Yeah.
don't gamble yet, but once we out of once we're out of money and I'm not working, I'll probably try to figure out how to make some money somehow. Um,
I feel like you'd be really good at it.
Gambling?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like my stocks. I mean, I do do the stock thing, but I really do.
You
I
buy
am.
stocks?
Yeah, I buy stocks. I own
Oh.
a good amount. I have money tied up in that.
Good for you. Are you in funds or in individual securities?
Individual bought
How
Tesla.
do you just make your own decisions as to what you buy, or do you have a account executive that
He
makes
doesn't listen to
suggestions?
you.
Don't
Yeah,
smart ass.
I, I do it myself. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I buy
how
it.
do you research it, or how do you make your decision?
Study people and
Study people.
yeah, make my adjustments off of them.
Okay.
So
Well, right now, like some of the greatest companies in the world, Google and Amazon and Apple and Netflix and and Microsoft, so forth. The government is really trying to is starting to think about really breaking up companies like Google and Amazon.
they'll
Any
come back.
Yeah.
There'll always be some type of like I think if I'm giving advice to everybody, I think streaming, Twitch, EA Sports, gaming, because cable's going out and people are looking for new ways to watch sports and TV, and they still want to be interactive with their anchors and whatnot. And Twitch is the best way to talk to your audience members, and they get to watch sports still, and they get to
I don't
still.
know if
Um,
Grandpa knows Twitch.
Twitch
I
is a
kind
site.
of,
Okay, Twitch is a streaming service where you can watch people game, but I really think that it's going to be like, I think it's going to move really far in the future, and like it's going to be more than just watching gamings. I think it's going to be like watching debates. It's going to be watching news. It's going to be watching sports games. I mean, there's NFL players that will stream a Thursday night game and then they'll anchor it. So like if you're a fan of like Marvin Harrison or something, you can watch him anchor a game that he's watching at his house, and you can pay to do that every Thursday. So I think stuff like that's where money's gonna go.
is this something that you watch on a computer or on a television screen?
You can do either, but it's usually like on a laptop or like a a gaming device or a phone.
It's
But
a website, isn't it?
yeah, it's kind of like YouTube or something like that. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be I think it's gonna be the new Netflix is
Interesting.
And
streaming
it's called Twitch.
Twitch, but it may be something else. Like, even if Twitch doesn't take over, I think that type of media is where money's going. So that's where
Hmm.
I'd put my money at for for the next, I wouldn't just put it in there and sell it real quick. You probably gotta give like a 5-year investment. But if I bought like $200 worth of their stock, I bet I get 1,000 in like 5 years.
What
do you-
about go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask because last thing I heard about Twitch, I think this week, was like they don't seem to know what they're doing anymore with like their copyright system. Like the last thing I heard was that they were started to copyright people for using like the music in games.
Oh God.
Like I saw that on Twitter like a couple days ago. Like a lot of people have been getting like copyright claims on their videos on Twitch, and they were like, "Well, Twitch, I'm just trying to play the game. Why can't you let me play the game?" And then Twitch was like, "Have you considered muting the game while you're streaming it for people to see?
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Just mute the whole thing."
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're still providing the game to them for free, right? So it's like the video.
It seemed ridiculous. Like people have been streaming games for like
I mean, that would
games.
shut down their
Like,
entire platform because that's the whole thing.
yeah, it was super weird to me.
Yeah.
Nobody's
I was
playing.
concerned
Yeah.
that these type companies are very, very, very risky. And one of the things that surprises me is that the virtual currency seems to continue to grow. What is it called? Bitcoin? And those type currencies have done well. I never trusted them, but it sounds like a lot of companies and governments are accepting them.
Yeah. I'm sketched out about it too, Grandpa. I don't know if I believe in it.
Well, it's literally made up, right? It's not a product. It's just
there is
imaginary
Bitcoin.
currency, isn't it?
Nah, it's currency. You can buy drugs with it. You use it for the dark web.
But like,
That's how you know it's real.
There's
That's how
nothing
you know it's
backing it
real.
up.
yeah, but there's no
It's an
gold attached.
algorithm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
an
gold
algorithm,
attached
yeah.
to each Bitcoin. Like what?
There's never
That's
been
true.
gold. Well, there hasn't been gold attached to our money in like
Yeah, a long
centuries.
time. We stopped doing that.
All right.
Yeah, but you have the
Well,
backing of the United States government and its ability
in
to
my sophomore
That's it.
year economics class, high school, not college,
All right.
they said that they put a little gold on every dollar bill. So, and with that, let's introduce the show. You're listening to Grandpa and Chill. I'm Brandon Fox. I'm here today with our amazing producer,
Sierra.
our young, awesome co-host.
You're talking
Phines.
about grandpa?
Oh, yeah, I was like, I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He said, "How many keywords can I try to put in here so the right person responds?"
Oh, no.
we got our co-host Phines, and as always, of course,
Grandpa.
yeah,
You might as well just say you might as well say it in the old fart. That's basically
yeah. we got the man worth a farthing.
Dear Lord.
And our first guest today is Elsa.
Hello.
Is it Elsa?
Yeah. What's up, Elsa?
Hello.
Well, hi, Elsa.
Whoa,
Delightful headphones.
love your headphones. Oh,
Is that headphones or ears? Yeah.
Both. They're both.
yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Yes.
I just put it at the base instead of the headphones. So.
Yes.
Perfect.
Delightful. Hello.
Hello.
Have you been able to hear us at all through the last 15,
Not
20?
at all.
Got you.
Yay.
Got you.
That's a good one.
I've been here the whole time, but I have no idea what's going on.
Oh,
That's hilarious.
it's all
So
good.
everything's a surprise to me.
All right.
Great.
So how are you today? Where are you
yeah.
from?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm in Washington, the Pacific Northwest. So it's been
Fun.
raining all day.
Oh, that
Ooh.
sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, it's not cold at all.
I just like rain. So
I don't like cold and rain mixed.
Hate it. Yeah. Gets in
Yeah.
your bones. Today, crazy. I know. Actually, we never talk about this, but we're talking about coronavirus. Our own personal experiences with it, if we've had any. Where'd we get? We wandered into stocks and a lot of stuff going on with the government, and then we just ended up with what sort of the Twitch and the new technologies that are coming on that Grandpa has never heard of before, but he's gonna
because
get
right
rich,
now I
rich.
have the money to just pay to get myself a Twitch affiliate. So That's totally a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Grandpa, did you understand any of that sentence?
Well, Elsa just spoke about Twitch, and that she's has the money to get on Twitch. Do you pay to get on Twitch?
Yeah,
No.
you would pay to like make a streaming site, and the people will come watch you and hopefully
Well,
subscribe, right? Yes.
So
actually,
what's the
Twitch
difference
just
between that?
announced that if you go with like a certain service, like CastCat or something like that, if you buy a subscription through them, you will automatically get upgraded to affiliate status.
Interesting.
Oh,
What is
So
the difference
that's really
between
big.
what's the difference between Twitch and what we're doing right now, podcast?
ours is way cooler.
It's a great
Uh,
question, Grandpa.
Well, I
On
mean,
here, people actually talk back.
Twitch is
okay.
Twitch is
I
kind of
mean,
live.
Phines was talking about using it as a gambling site, but I don't.
I mean, I guess
I'm
you
not
could.
understanding the whole thing.
Twitch is live usually.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's
Yeah.
Twitch. You can watch the gaming. So, say two people are playing Madden. If anybody plays anything, you can gamble on it. I mean, honestly, people could gamble on us right now and say, "Who's the first person who's going to say something?" I guess we could always gamble.
Ooh,
Mhm.
who is
Or
the
make it
first
into a
person?
drinking game and like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Let's just
Yeah.
let's numb ourselves to the things that are going on and just jump into gambling and drinking game.
Drinking.
Find the problem.
Yeah. On that note, my brother, Jared, your grandson, he's a Twitch streamer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it before 10 minutes ago.
he
Never heard of this thing. Twitch.
he's trying to be a pro gamer.
Yes.
Yeah, he so
So,
Mario.
hmm
Yeah. The game?
So yeah. So he does this thing called speed runs where he tries to complete the game in like under an hour and a half, like start to finish, like a very long, like a 100-hour game, and he's learned every single map how to do it in like under a couple minutes, and this took him months, and now that's all he does every night is he like streams that. I don't know if I'm making sense, Grandpa, but
Oh, is that what he's going to college for?
Yep.
he's getting his degree in economics for sure.
Must
so-
make your parents very happy.
Wait, is that
Hey.
the one? Wait, is it in economics? Is that the guy that told you about the gold standard?
Yeah.
That was my high school teacher, Jared. Jared heard that in his class, and now he decided to go to college for it. But I will say, this is great for this podcast, is that what you just said about sort of like, is that what he's going to college for? It's a much more financially viable route for like levels of ceilings of like there's a lot of people in their 20s who are multimillionaires, and the older generations are like bah humbug, but all this stuff that they're teaching about current economics, job security, all that kind of stuff, it's not doing too well. That advice is not holding up as well.
Well, when you're talking about millionaires, Brandon, are you talking about people that design these games or people that play them?
No,
They just
play them. Just play them.
I see.
yeah.
You gotta
Esports are
be
huge.
gotta be pretty charismatic, I would think. People gotta interact with your fans. It's a form of prostitution, basically, but you're prostituting your personality.
Oh
What?
man.
That's
You
not
could-
wrong.
It's
Yeah,
not wrong. Yeah,
you
what?
could say that about anything, though. I
You
mean,
sure can. If LeBron James can dunk real hard and a girl can do something, hey, why can't they both get paid?
oh my god.
So, Elsa, what kind of career do you have?
My career is none right now.
None.
I actually was teaching English in Korea, and before that, I worked as a records clerk at a police department.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Good for you.
I know this is off topic, but it was about the rain. I was just going to ask, do you know about petrichor?
No.
Oh, it's just when humans can sense rain coming, they can smell it in the air.
Yeah,
That's all.
I do that.
Do you feel that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
It
that
smells really
means.
good. Ozone. Right
Yeah.
up in your nostrils.
Look at that. I wonder why we do that. I wonder why
I don't
humans
know.
can do that.
That's the name of one of my favorite songs, and I never knew what that meant.
Mm.
Oh,
Maybe it
Yeah.
has like a hunter gatherer thing where you're trying to
yeah,
anticipate weather. I don't know.
rain's coming. I bet if you're a farmer
Yeah.
back in the day, if you're like a nomad, you're like, uh-oh, finally rain's coming. I can feel it. I can smell it.
Hmm.
Collect the sheep or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Oh,
also, what
sorry.
was the harder of the two jobs out of the ones that you just said?
Um, well, I've taught before, but teaching in a different country with different systems and stuff is very difficult. I really liked working for my police department, and I kind of wish that I hadn't left to go to Korea and teach.
Oh,
Um, but that was mostly because of the Hagwon, the private school that I went to, was not great. They were one of the shady ones, so yeah, I struck out with that one.
What
Do
was
you
what?
speak Korean?
I don't speak very much Korean at all. I know how to order myself some food, depending on what it is. I can order makgeolli, stuff like that. You know, the basics.
what do you mean by shady?
Oh, they put stuff in your contract that's illegal and try to get you to work unpaid overtime.
Oh
And
no.
it was not good. And right now, the COVID levels in South Korea are going up really high because they just had Chuseok, which is their family celebration honoring their ancestors and things.
Oh
And
wow.
then there was Halloween, and now we have Thanksgiving coming up. So when I left, they had closer to 50 infections nationwide per day, and now they're over 300 per day.
Wow.
Jeez.
So
Did
it's a big difference.
you left because Corona or your contract had just ended?
I actually pulled a midnight run and left a month into my contract.
Whoa.
So
Good for you though. Like that's
yeah, I actually got physically sick and couldn't even go to work, so I just decided to buy a plane ticket instead.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you ever get Corona or
No,
you
my
don't mind
mom
me asking?
actually had a secondary exposure at the hospital here where we live. She went in, and one of the workers that she was in direct contact with had COVID. And so she got tested and she was negative and she did quarantine and everything. My grandmother's cousin, though, did die of COVID.
Wow.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So I know in the Pacific Northwest that it is a big problem right now. I know North and South Dakota are terrible.
sorry, I need to
Is
stop laughing.
the state of Washington that high difficult situation right now with COVID?
We have a lot of different areas here in Washington state that have big outbreaks. The main one that everyone's concerned about is in Yakima County, specifically in the city of Yakima. It's really big, industrial. They have a lot of packing plants and we have orchards and stuff. So that's where a lot of our infections are coming from. Where I live, we're only 45 minutes away from Yakima. And so a lot of people commute back and forth for work.
Mm,
So we actually had a small outbreak here right before I left for South Korea. And that was a big thing because we're like, there's the packing plant here. We know it's going to happen. People go back and forth. And then it did. And our local health department really didn't do anything about it. They're like, if they don't test positive, they're fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
So,
may or may not be true, right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we have stuff popping up all over the place, schools getting infected, people at the hospital, and it's not good all around. And I kind of wish people had listened to Inslee in the first place and we had actually done like a lockdown quarantine, how we were supposed to, but people just don't listen.
Are you near Seattle?
I'm about 2 hours away in good traffic.
Oh, good
In
traffic.
which direction?
South, I'm in central Washington.
Mhm.
And Elsa, if let's say um, the center of your town, a sign went up tomorrow that said COVID vaccine, get it here for free, verified by Pfizer. Like, would you get one tomorrow?
I think if I saw something like that based on the studies that have come out saying like how effective it's been in trials, I would definitely do that because I myself and several of my family members are actually in the high risk group. We have a lot of elderly people in my family and community. A lot of people in my family, including myself, have multiple autoimmune disorders. So
Yeah,
it's really in our best interest to have an effective vaccine and get that as soon as possible.
got you. Yeah, yeah. And Grandpa, you said you'd get it too, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, I definitely would because I'm in a high risk group, and my wife is very much in a high risk group. So, if one of us got it, the other one would get it. So, yeah,
Sure.
I definitely would get it. I had a situation many years ago. Um, I went out for a job. I told a employment agency that I was a carpenter. Well, I know how to turn a screw with a screwdriver, and I have a hammer. They sent me out to a job in Washington at I guess it was a paper factory, and there was a stack that must have been 200 feet in the air and 10 feet in diameter, and they wanted me to build a wooden trestle around the top of this stack. I totally didn't know what I was doing. I was in my loafers and blue jeans, whatever. I had a hammer and a screwdriver a long time ago. But it's a beautiful area up there, state of Washington. Very pretty. You're not that. I'm assuming if you're that far south from Seattle, then you're not too far from Portland. No.
Actually, because of all the mountains and everything, it takes a long time to get to Portland.
Hmm.
I actually have a sister that lives outside of Portland, actually just north of Vancouver. And it takes her about 20 minutes to get to Vancouver. And it takes me about 4.5 to 7 hours to get to her house, depending on traffic and weather.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember living in I was there in living in Portland when St. Helens blew, and I remember I could see I guess it's Mount Hood and St. Helen from Portland.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds. Do you have any other interests other than your career, your work a day? Anything music or any hobbies, cooking, whatever?
Me?
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like to sing. I like to cook. I don't do either very much or very well. Um, I am on Twitch, so I do some stuff on there. I'm not good at that either. Um, I like to dabble in a lot of things. I also write. I write fan fiction. I'm trying to get a job as a technical writer right now because you can do that remotely. So there's lower risk of COVID and the pay's decent. So why not? So I do like to write. I find that that's really fun. I garden sometimes, but I don't particularly like it. I'm good at it when I try, but I don't like it.
I just picture you like just grumbling and like
It's like,
with some
God
carrots.
damn
Like,
cucumbers, what are you doing over here?
And her fingers are all green thumbs. She's like, oh, I fucking hate this.
It's like, why did these pumpkins get so big this year? Jesus.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What fan fiction? What do you?
What's your fandom?
Yeah, what's your fandom?
What's my fandom or what's my favorite fandom?
What like impassions you so much? You're like, bro, I gotta
What?
write a fanfic about this.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even remember how I got into writing fan fiction. I know it just happened when I was like in high school. I was like, yeah, fan fiction. And so I don't even remember what that was. But I like writing challenge fics. So if someone proposes something, I'd be like, they give me an idea, I'll run with it.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
like that.
Okay, that sounds like fun. Like writing prompts.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is what it's going to be, and you have to include these elements, work it out.
Wow. Have you played D&D?
Oh, yeah. I like 3.5 the best.
Yeah. Sounds up the alley.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've never tried it before, but I was thinking since quarantine happened, I would like it, but I haven't
Have
dungeons.
you ever been a DM before?
I haven't. Someone actually just asked me yesterday if I had ever been a DM or if I wanted to DM. And
Yeah.
I think it's really awesome. You have a lot of like world building and character creation abilities. But I also don't know if I would have like the attention span to just do that.
Do you have I'd say a decent knowledge of all the races and the classes though in like a standard game?
I think it depends on like what version of D&D you're trying to
The
play. Like,
whatever one you know best, like your top.
um, I would say I have at least basic knowledge of most of them. But if someone
Like
asked me like a straight up like, what's this ability that this character has that does blah
no,
blah
no, no,
blah, I'd
no.
be like, no.
Cuz my question is like right now if we were to explain all of this to grandpa and help him pick his own race and class and stuff, like would you
No, I
be
was
able
going
to
to ask
walk
you
him
what a
through?
DM is.
Oh yeah, a dungeon master.
You got to slide into him, grandpa.
Stop
Okay,
it.
And
I'm not in another world. Okay.
and D&D is Dungeons and Dragons is what we're
Okay.
talking about.
It's old, right? Didn't Dungeons and Dragons come out in like the 60s or something?
It's really old, you know. They were blaming Marilyn Manson for like bombings and school shootings and stuff back when I was a baby.
Yeah.
Let's push pause on this because our old pal Steve is waiting in the ether. So
Awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
Steve
I would
in.
love if you could come back on another time. Maybe we could do a whole D&D setup for grandpa and
Oh
Finest
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can totally do that.
Oh my god. That's
Yeah.
the fun stuff. I'd love to.
I'm already imagining things.
Oh, great.
I
Great.
love it.
It does sound,
How,
yeah.
how long has this Twitch been around? This is the first time I've ever heard about it.
Years and years and
Couple
years.
Yeah.
years.
I mean, I know
couple
what a
years.
Twitch is, but
I don't
20,
think it's been that
30.
popular except for the last like 6-ish years, though, right? Like
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
4 to 6.
oh my
It just,
gosh,
get,
I never heard of it.
it just got popular. I remember Halo and once the MLG, the Major League Gaming started coming out was when Twitch started getting some footing.
Yeah.
It's a new pastime. I mean, I enjoy watching people play games. I feel like, especially like, I don't like playing video games, but I do like the storylines of video games, and I like watching them. And again, if they have a good person that's playing the game, they're really charismatic, and they're making jokes, and they're talking about the story, then I'm
Yeah.
all for it, and I'm all there.
And you don't
Yeah,
have
it
to
also
meditate.
helps like if you don't know what kind of game to buy, you can see other people play it and see if it's something you would enjoy.
Very true.
Also, one last question before you go.
Yeah.
What do you think makes a good Twitch streamer? Because my brother's trying to break into it.
Well, I'm not a good Twitch streamer, so I don't know if I'm a good person to ask. But I think when I do watch people on Twitch, I like when they talk about what they're doing in the game and if they're checking the chat and responding to people if they're asking questions or saying something funny, if they just have that banter back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
good.
engagement. Good
Yeah.
engagement.
Yeah.
Good interpersonal qualities.
Yeah.
You're a lovely guest. Interesting and nice to communicate with you.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Grandpa.
Then the next time she's on, she's gonna turn you into a wizard or a druid or something.
Yep. Be ready. I have the Dungeon Master guide on my computer. It's ready
Have
to
it
go.
have it ready. Let's do this. That's
will.
great.
I'll send you the
Alright.
character sheet when we're done.
Awesome.
All right, great.
Have a great night, Elsa.
Have a great one.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
But yeah.
Steve. Steve? Steve.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
A lot of instruments you got there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Flexing.
Yeah. We just moved into this place, so lots of instruments, and this is my little fortress of solitude. So
Wow.
Nice.
Did the place come with the instruments?
That's what I was thinking. And then I was like,
no,
wow.
no, we just moved in 2 weeks ago. Me, my girl, her son, and our daughter. Well, our upcoming daughter. She's not here yet. She'll be here in May.
Oh, yay.
Congrats. Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So are those all yours? Do you guys share them? Is this just like the guitar room?
This is my room, so they're all mine. They all have names, They're all mine.
Nice.
Boy, I'm interested in hearing you play.
If I had it set up, I would do that. But at this point, I can't. But I can send you some other stuff. If you look up on Apple Music or anything,
Yeah.
Rehab for Robots is the name of the band, and I do all the
Perfect.
instruments for it.
Amazing.
What is the name again? I'm sorry.
Rehab for Robots.
Rehab for Robots.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Where'd you just move to and from?
I'm from Arizona. I'm one of the few Arizona natives, but once we found out we were pregnant, I was like, well, we need a bigger house. So I moved zero point 0.4 miles away from my other house. I sold it, had a dream opportunity to move into this place. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things where fate works out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And how have you been keeping busy during the whole pandemic and everything?
A lot of video editing, to be honest. That's my normal gig is running video crews and creative content management for a company that does storage units. And just we're going through a merger right now, but that's what I do. Kind of in the construction industry, but I just try and make metal boxes look as sexy as possible.
Hmm. That's
Wow.
how we started the whole podcast. Grandpa introduced us to video editing software. He's trying to learn it.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, boy, it's complicated.
Which program are you using?
It's
Scissors.
a Black Magic camera. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a cinema camera, and it's called Resolve. It's like hundreds of pages to learn of fairly technical things, much of which I don't even really know the wording, but when you get into hues and saturation and various things that I hope I'll be able to master it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a trick in all of video editing. It's not really so much about how stylistic you are. It's about the story that you're telling. And if you have a good story, people will put up with terrible editing.
Well, I'm trying
That's
to.
what gets me my bills paid. I'm like, I'm not the best at it. I'll just tell the best story I can.
That's very true.
I'm into music music recording, and the company that designed this camera, it's an excellent camera. It competes with cameras that are 5 and 10 times the price. It's being used. They've had some feature films that have been done with this camera, but unfortunately, the people that design it, they're geniuses with the photography part of it, but not so much with the audio. So they made the mini XLR, a monaural channel, and then there's another input which is not balanced, which is stereo, which could be an issue if you have long cable runs. So I would prefer not to have to go into post editing in order to sync the music, the audio with the video, until I really know what I'm doing. And but I understand you get a better product if you do it separately and sync it in. So you probably know a lot about that.
I know some, and then I fake the rest of it. But yes, it's very true. If you have the two different sources, once you sync them, your life gets much easier.
What type of genre do you do in music?
I grew up in a very weird town that most people see posted on Instagram. I see a lot of you are in front of computers, so if you look up Horseshoe Bend, Arizona, my hometown is 3 miles away from that. It's a small town called Page. So when we were there, we had people running around they would come down to Phoenix and pick up indie CDs or whatever. So I grew up on a lot of math rock, a lot of heavy metal, a lot of country music, and Um, that's kind of what I've mixed in. I didn't mix in as much hip hop as I would have liked. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a math rock kind of thing. Tool meets C Clamp meets Dianoga, sometimes a little bit of Radiohead in there, which is my favorite band. I just don't want to try and even get into what they're doing.
Are you
So,
also a vocalist?
I can't sing very well unless it sounds like if I go to karaoke, I can do Jimi Hendrix very well, BB King, that blues voice, but for the most part, I try not to sing on the new records that I've done.
Yeah, I've been daydreaming about your band name. I just imagine like a robot going, eh, eh. My name is Anthony, and it's been 45 days since I helped a human, and they're all like clapping, like, "Good job! You don't need a
Since I
human.
helped somebody.
This is get your own independence, robot." And he's like, "Where's my chip?"
Yeah.
Where's my chip?
Oh, that is actually perfect. I might actually steal the "Where's my chip" line.
Yeah,
Cool.
new concept for a video.
I know,
That
right?
cover
Like,
art for the next.
Where'd you come
album.
up with the name?
so the name of it, I had a friend of mine back in the MySpace days, so way back in the day. A friend of mine has this obsession with Dakota Fanning when she was really, really young. He's like, no, she's too good to actually be human. She's a robot. And I wrote like some kind of blog about, oh, all these child stars going to rehab, but not Dakota Fanning because she's a robot and there is no rehab for robots. And then I was like, parentheses, I'm taking that as a band name. And yeah, so that's it. Started in 2009. I just started writing and playing all the instruments because at the time I didn't have any band members and kind of went the Trent Reznor route with the whole thing.
And now?
And now still the same thing because once you get used to something, it's like, yeah, no, now I just like doing it on my own.
Yeah.
I have a guest guitarist. My friend Doug comes in every once in a while, and a friend of mine, Jared, will do some guest vocals or keyboard parts. But for the most part, yeah, it's just whatever. It's not a career for me. It's just I have to do it. My dad was a DJ. Music is extremely important in my family, but I'm the only one who, outside of my older brother, who actually learned how to play instruments. And so we find all of my dad's kids are very just musical. Like we have to play or we have to absorb music. But like two of us really went out and bought a bunch of instruments, and it's just a huge portion of who I am.
So if like 2 years from now everything's back open and you book a series of live gigs, it's you and then you take those two people on the road with you, or how does that work?
I would probably assemble a band. It would be more of a Cloud Nothing situation if you're familiar with that band. I
I'm
don't know
not
what everybody
actually,
listens
no.
to.
Yeah.
There's a band called Cloud Nothings, and he was doing the same thing I did. He just happened to get picked up, and then he assembled an entire band. Like playing with a live band is so fun. I've done a couple of shows locally where I have backing tracks or some guest musicians, but having it actually with real drums and real people there, that's where I get my energy.
Yeah, it's a real high for sure, right?
Yeah, it's the best, man.
Have you noticed? Have you seen that Guitar Center just filed bankruptcy?
That I did not know, but that's not too surprising to me since, I mean, what Bain Capital was their funders early on, so they were always designed to go bankrupt and let Mitt Romney make money.
Are you in the stocks game?
No, but I do have I have an MBA, and I got my MBA right at that time when McCain was running from Arizona. But I don't really mess with the stocks. I just know I have the understanding of certain businesses I like, and so for them to file bankruptcy, maybe that means I'll add a couple more guitars then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I can get me a guitar, maybe.
Yeah, now's the time to do it. It's a slat wall back there. I just need to get extra hangers, and I can turn those sideways, make that thing work.
Do you have a favorite guitar?
I do. Let's see, where's she at? She is over here, but she's a an Inca silver 1996 American Standard Telecaster, which, if it was a little more beat up, would look like something Bruce Springsteen would play.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, and you always got to give respect to the boss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not bad for a Mormon kid former Mormon kid from northern Arizona.
Before you go into the Mormon thing, which I'm interested in, do you use Twitch or do you know about Twitch?
I know about Twitch, but I don't use it. I don't want to see people play video games. Me personally, I'd rather play them and fail miserably. And
Sounds like you should start a Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, where people just watch my failure.
Yeah.
I don't know that I wanted that globally exposed.
I find it. I think I'd enjoy watching you fail.
Maybe. You know what? Yeah, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
I got you. We got one supporter here. I'm like, yeah, come on. Watch Steve fail. Maybe okay.
Maybe I should start one where we have it with people play. I mean, they don't even make Rock Band anymore, but that was the most frustrating game I've ever played because it made no sense. It made no sense. If you're an actual guitarist, you're going, no, but you would move, but you only have the 4 buttons, and the strumming patterns didn't match up, and so I think that would be interesting.
I'm telling you, that would be entertaining to watch people that play guitar play Rock Band and then watch them like complain about it, and then watch someone that has no musical experience do better than them or something like that. I think I'd watch that. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, there's a guy who did it on YouTube from Mastodon. And he's like, I wrote this song and I can't play this. And like some 14-year-old is just like killing it. And he's like, that's not even how it doesn't play the right way.
The fraud.
Yeah.
I was really, really good at Rock Band, and then I picked up a guitar maybe a year after I was playing Rock Band, and I would just go like this a bunch of times, and I was like, why the fuck doesn't this sound amazing? Like,
it was so easy. They had the 4 buttons, and I've got the 4 buttons. I'm pushing. Yeah.
Where's the screen? Like, so.
Although I will tell you the trick: drop D tuning. You can slide your finger up in those 4 positions and just play on the low E string, and you can make some Ozzy Osbourne sounding shit right there.
Yeah, a lot of smoke on the water.
Classic.
I knew. Grandpa, have you ever? I was gonna ask you this before. Have you ever played a video game, Grandpa? Like ever?
Well, what was the one where the peanut got thrown out and the monkey caught it or something?
Donkey Kong. That's Mario. The very first Mario Donkey Kong one.
You played Donkey Kong?
A few of them, a few of them that you and Jared put on my cell phone. But no, not the real video games. I never.
Wait. So you didn't play the video games in like an arcade? You didn't take the kids?
Well, in the long time ago, in the pinball machine. Yeah, they had pinball machines, but not on a TV screen. No.
What about that snake game where you have to keep eating the snake and the snake gets bigger as you find things?
It was like 50 when that came out.
Yeah. The graphics are too much for me.
So your experience of video games goes to what was on your cell phone. Like you were, like in developing countries, they do the technological leap. Like it was never wired for telephone, but then they get cell towers and they just jump to that. We had video arcades. You could have taken your grandkids to those and
Yeah,
played
Grandpa,
actual
what the
video
fuck?
games, and then you're just like, oh well, no, until it popped up on my cell phone, and then
I did take them, and I just stood around basically.
You got drunk. No, you didn't. You were great. So what if you were like if we were to set up a live stream for you, Grandpa, on an like what would happen? Like would you know how to operate the controller or anything like that? Or
No.
No.
Well, I don't know what you mean by live. I know what a live stream is, but a live stream of what?
oh
Yeah.
okay,
What would we play?
what Twitch is like any video game like
Well, probably not. I don't know. I'd have to
that
look at
sounds like
So now you know
amazing.
what y'all need to do when that vaccine comes out. First stop, you're going to Best Buy together because you can now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're picking him up like a GameCube. We're gonna start
it.
small.
I just
Oh
didn't.
my
no, no,
God.
no. You're gonna have to pick him up a Kyocera phone from like 2001. Get that shit on eBay. They'll just send that over, and then
Yeah.
you gotta figure out. That's your challenge, and that's your video editing challenge, there, Grandpa. Find out how to hook that thing up so that you can record the screen and do the audio there. So you've got your audio mixing, you've got your video editing, all of that together. Put that shit on Twitch, and I'd actually like that's something I would watch. Like, oh look,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
could
game.
use time code also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put time code units.
Yeah.
I am
Did you-
interested in hearing.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry.
go
I just
Phines,
want
go.
to hear about Stephen's Mormon life.
Yeah. My mom was, she's from Layton, Utah. She's a white lady, white Irish American, whatever. And my dad was the first black firefighter in Utah.
Ooh.
Um, she got excommunicated after my birth because they were never married. And I grew up Mormon until I was 17 and met my dad at 23,
Holy
and he
crap.
died when I was 26. But yeah, I was raised by a white Mormon lady and still rebelled and went crazy and bought all these things and got all tattooed and all of that stuff.
So
Yeah,
what does being excommunicated mean if she's still like practicing?
Well, she was excommunicated for a while, and then she got rebaptized. But you couldn't
Okay.
take the sacrament. There was just certain religious rituals that she couldn't go through.
Okay.
Me personally, they're all pointless, but is what it is.
Did you grow up near Salt Lake City? Apparently you did. Near Salt Lake.
About 6 hours south of Salt Lake. Like I grew up in Arizona. I was born in Phoenix, but where I grew up is 9 miles from the southern Utah border.
Okay.
I see.
Cool.
wow. You're quite the outlier. How's that feel?
To be the outlier, it's how does it feel to be black in America? Right? Like it's no different thing. Like I don't believe that there are certain like there's the black culture, right? Like it doesn't matter if you look like me or look like you or anybody else. Like, you know, if you're black and you're living in Atlanta or you move to Atlanta or whatever, you're going to get that certain type of treatment that is very, very pervasive. So yeah, it was weird because there were only like 3 black kids that I went to school with, and one of them's a Facebook friend, apparently a huge Trump supporter, and I'm like, all right, whatever, you know. But I'm like, all right, cool, you know, that's silly and stupid as fuck to me, but it wasn't like I didn't get called names or any of that. It wasn't any different except that it was a smaller population, so it was more of a rural setting in the middle of the Navajo reservation. Yeah.
So it seems like you pretty much. There's the horseshoe bin.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? What was I gonna ask? I was so distracted. No, I guess it's. I'm thinking about like the culture shock of going from being raised like just how you seem like you've pretty much assimilated to like regular life without being not being a Mormon or raised around that or stuff like that's. I mean, I know the black thing's a black thing, that's a whole thing. But does it feel like even as a black person and you're from you're raised Mormon around black people, that still must be like a little weird.
Oh yeah, it is. It's definitely different. Yeah, sure. I mean, how many famous Black Mormons do you know?
Mm,
There's one that I
from
could say her name, and you'd be
oh,
like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
who is it?
Gladys Knight." Gladys
Oh
Knight.
wow,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, she converted.
Wow.
Gladys
Wait.
Knight.
She converted to it or from it?
Yeah, yeah,
Gladys
to
Knight
it.
was a Mormon. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Well, she wasn't when she was doing Midnight Train to Georgia. She
Yeah.
was later on, and so and it was the idea that they were bringing these folks out as the tokens, right?
Mhm.
And there were other things in the religion. You can go through that, and I can send some sites, but it just wasn't jiving with me. And I was like about 15. And I was like, yeah, I don't believe in this. And then I went to ASU, the number one party school in the nation at the time, on scholarship, and I was kind of like, "Yep, no, this," and to be honest, yeah, no, I got laid my first time at ASU, and now I'm like, "Yeah, no, this is way different than everybody was telling me, so I'm good."
That's hilarious.
I think that's a common religion story. Is like, oh my God, but also like sex.
Sex?
Like,
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
I think about it's not that I would say that I'm like agnostic now. It's not that I don't believe in a higher power. It's just that I believe in a higher power that cannot be defined. I was like, every religion that, as I studied them after the Mormonism thing, I was like, everybody's trying, in my mind, to define what God is, what God wants, what God deems acceptable, what he or she deems unacceptable or unacceptable, right? And I was like, but that's kind of like me coming home and telling the dogs how my day at work went and the problems I'm having with the software system we're running. I'm like, they don't care. They know that I feed them, I love them, I leave, and I come home, whatever. And I'm like, that's kind of how I view God, right? Like, there's something that cares, but I can never understand something that made billions and billions of planets. And so why should I even try?
Yeah. I just spelled dog backwards and what the fuck? No, I like, yeah. I think science is. I think all people are always trying to find answers to something, and I think science is sometimes in that same boat of like, you may not believe in, you may say you don't believe in God, but you're still looking for answers, brother, in some way or some form or fashion. I wish people
Very
would.
true.
I wish they wouldn't get so take it so personally and make it such like a us versus them when it's like we're all pretty much trying to figure out what we're doing here.
Right.
scientist.
Oh no, just everybody. I think everyone's searching for an answer. They're searching for God or searching for a purpose for what they're doing stuff. They just all have different explanations and things they follow for it. I wish it wasn't. I wish people didn't think it was so different. Me and a Mormon or something like that. Like I understand there's a lot of differences between the two, but we're almost in the same category. We both are lost, looking for something. So I that's what I think about religion a little bit in spirituality and science. I think everyone's trying to find an answer to something. They just pick which way they do it.
Well, I would agree with that. I would just say that it's when someone goes, "Well, I'm right because this is what I believe, so I have to be right."
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if everybody's looking for answers, like you're saying, then why don't we all just pool together and figure out? We could figure out more answers, but we'll never figure out all the answers. And I think that's the beautiful part of it, right? Like,
Yeah, that's
you
what's
look
cool.
at my partner, she's crazy New Jersey girl. And I'm like, I don't know. I will never know 100% of her. my goal every day is to find out what she wants. I mean, strong Black woman from New Jersey, which means I get my ass handed to me on, if not the hourly, at least the bi-weekly.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
science can't really explain New Jersey that well.
and to save your life, I will not let her know that you said that.
I will say though, on Phines's point, it's I do see less people walking around like gravity's fucking real. Oh, there was an apple that fell. Did you see that? Like, you know, so
What you
Yeah,
mean?
I think that the point that a lot of people that tend to lead more towards science, not all of them are maybe not as like deeply held on those beliefs, you know, just because they take them as fact instead of something that they're trying to hold on to inherently.
I think they're almost sometimes I think people that are into science and knowledge are almost more dangerous. Both all of them, once you get to extreme, become once you like he said, like Stephen said earlier, once you think that your answer is the answer and everyone else is wrong around you, is when it gets dangerous. And
Yeah, sure.
I sometimes I'm a science guy. I love science. You know, I'm all for looking for the answer. That's what makes me happy. But I don't like people going like it can't be nothing. Can't be right because you know gravity and this equation and you're stupid because you don't believe in this. I kind of don't. I don't vibe with that. I think it's kind of rude
Yeah.
to
And
do that.
also it's the same people 2000 years ago, or I don't know, in Greek times, that were like, that's fucking Zeus, you idiot. We know that. We know it's Zeus. Like, this lightning is being thrown down by a Greek god. Like, that's science. So it's a ever evolving thing.
it's always interesting. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but there are certain points where, and I'm finding that people are getting dumber in a
Mm.
way, like where you have these what, the guy who died trying to prove that the Earth is flat, and I was like,
What did he do? He fall off the edge?
yeah. He just fell off into the nothingness. It was like
Shot
Asgard and
himself off like in
Thor.
a rocket, right?
Yeah, he shot himself, and he had successfully, he built his own rocket successfully and went up 1,700 feet and came down. It was kind of a crash landing. He built a second one, and it didn't work out so well for him. And I'm like, okay, but you could get in an airplane, like for all the money you spent and for how you think that you're a scientist, just get in an airplane, fly to Australia. I mean, it's not a cheap flight.
He could have just bought like a hot air balloon trip.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's more important because like I think their thing is like there's a ceiling, right? They feel like there's a you only can go so high up and then you hit the ceiling and then everything else is just straight. It's just like
I
a
don't even know what they think. They all
thought-
argue within that. Like,
Yeah.
you could fly out of the atmosphere if you go up that high. You could, you know, and I'm like, just look at a solar eclipse, man. Like, yeah, have you ever seen a bar going across the moon? The moon is round, like everything, it makes sense. Just let it be. But people, it's when you get to that idea of, or when you get to that extreme of denialism, I'm like, wow, you really don't get anything. I mean, you got Kyrie Irving talking about that, and it's like,
yeah.
dude, you've been on planes, like you have flown places.
Have you heard that thing about like someone having a basketball and they like put a person on the basketball and they're like it's showing how gravity doesn't work, like you know how you end up falling off the balls. That's why that's why gravity doesn't. That's why it doesn't work. That's why the world is flat. I've listened to
I
it.
haven't, just because there's only so much stupid I can take. Where I'm like, all right, I just, my mind has been blown. 2020 has been such a dumpster fire that I'm like, okay, sure, the world is flat. Just tell me when you get to the end. Find the end. I will pay you money.
I'll pay you
Find
to jump
the end of
off.
the earth.
Like,
Yeah,
fair
and
to me.
drop stuff off the edge and see what happens.
Know yourself. Just
No,
go.
no,
just,
no, no. I
just
think
leave.
I really think flat earthers. Sorry to put them all into one category. 'Cause I'm sure some of them are very nice, but I know their ego's big enough that they would take selfies of them at the edge of the earth. Like I'm sure the fact that I don't see anybody like take on their Instagram going like, "Look at me, I'm at the edge of I've made it, you dummies."
Yeah. Funny how nobody's seen any of those
None
photos.
of it, none of it. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
first thing I would do when I reach the edge of it. I'm like, wow,
I'll
I'm
be like,
so
I did it, y'all. Give me my own day. You gave Christopher Columbus a day for discovering Central America, which people had already been to. Sure, give me a day for figuring out the world is fully flat.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we don't live in a crazy world like that.
Grandpa, I wanted to ask you, do you agree that people are getting dumber? As someone who's been around a minute.
I think that pretty much the same. I think that you have a lot more to try to filter out today than people did years ago. It's an awful lot to filter out with all the different media that's available. But getting back to this God thing, maybe if you think of it as one mind, that we're all kind of puppets of that one mind, and all of consciousness is what is our awareness. That's creation is being created by the Creator for all of the consciousness that we have. We have the illusion of free will, but whether we really have free will or not, that's questionable.
Yeah. Albert Einstein had a good quote about that, right? Where I'm gonna butcher it, but it was like E equals MC squared. No, that's not it. Where he said he was talking about how like science is so perfect, beautiful, and inevitable that like it couldn't have just happened, and if so, isn't that proof of God itself anyway, right? Like,
Yeah, that the Creator didn't just gamble with everything, but again, it all comes back to the illusion of reality. There is no description for any of the senses.
have you heard that there's a chance we might be in a simulation?
Yeah, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you made a really, it'd be a really, I no, I just I can't can't take that one. I don't like the simulation one.
You're
Steve,
asking this in 2020, like at this point, sure.
Yeah.
Please let it be.
Right.
Please
Yeah.
let me
Press the off button.
give me
Steve, you've worked in
the
studios. Steve, you've worked in you've done recording in studios, obviously. Am I correct?
well, a little bit, but really, I just started building my own.
I see. And like what type of preamp do you use? I know this is kind of off the subject, but
No, I use a Behringer. Right now, I'm going through an 8Q02 USB with obviously my Rode mic here, powered preamp, and then out in the garage stored away when I do live shows, I have another Behringer, but it's a 12 channel head that I use and power some speakers.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, neat. Well,
No.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Mine was just
No,
nonsense.
I was just going to say I'm anxious to listen to your music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just go with the later albums, not the early ones. I'm still learning, man. Still learning. Self-taught all the way.
Nice.
That's
All the
great.
way around.
I love it.
It is.
I'll say two things. One about what you said earlier, Grandpa, about all of us being one. You know what, that helps me out with treating people right. I'm always like, if we're all stardust and we're all one, then I better be more forgiving to myself, which is everyone. So I try to think about. I do think about that quite a bit and go, I should be nicer to these people that think the world is flat because they are me apparently. So let me just go. I forgive you for thinking the world's flat. But on the going to the simulation thing, you know what I hate about the Matrix is who makes a simulation that has two pills in it that lets you understand the simulation. I think who would program that was so dumb.
No, they hacked that though. That was
They
the
did.
hack that they did. Those were programs.
That's a terrible simulation. I think a good simulation. This is why I don't know. This is why I don't know. I think okay, I'll take that.
And the other side of it is always question yourself as to why the people who know the most about the Matrix are black.
Mm, the meek
I
of
wasn't
the
aware.
You got it.
the
She's
what?
got it right there. Like, I mean, think about it. Everybody who knows anything about the Matrix, Morpheus, black, Oracle, black, Tank and Dozer, black. Like anybody who is actually free and understands anything about the Matrix, and then you have Morpheus going, "Take a look at the pills, Neo. You're a slave. That's the truth."
True.
The Matrix hit really different after the protests this summer.
Yeah, you know what? This makes me. This is again. I'm sorry. I'm so shitting on the Matrix. It's not that I'm shitting on it. It's just that some of these feelings. Have you heard of the Magical Negro? Does anybody know about the
Yeah,
Magical
Oh
Negro?
yeah,
yeah. Of course.
Isn't that one? Isn't the guy that knows about the peel? You know, he's just like, let me help my white man
honestly,
figure
he and the
this out.
Oracle probably. Honestly, he and the Oracle both are. I
A
can't
lot
think of
of people.
anybody else.
If you guys don't know, sorry, Grandpa and Brandon, Magical Negroes, that someone that their main purpose is to help white people do things like Driving Miss Daisy or The Green Mile or basically any movie Hitch, any movie with a black person in it. There's always helping
Shawshank
someone.
Redemption. Anything
Yeah.
that has Morgan Freeman in it.
Oh no.
But I mean, yeah, that is the exact
Damn.
thing. I mean, obviously, I well, not obviously, but I wear stuff from a company called Blackluster, which I own, and yeah, I dig into some of that stuff, and that's yeah. I mean, the magical Negro is it's a trope, but the Matrix could have saved themselves if the star they wanted actually took the
Will
role,
Smith,
which would have
yeah.
been Will Smith. And
Oh,
then they would have been educating a
wow.
guy about himself.
Will Smith said something to that too though. He was like, I'm glad I didn't take the movie because Lawrence Fishburne, yeah, was perfect.
No, it was Keanu Reeves. He was going to play Neo.
Sorry, who played Morpheus in The Matrix?
Lawrence Fishburne.
He was saying that Will Smith is glad he didn't take it because he would have or he would have taken the part away from Lawrence Fishburne because they were like, well, they would never cast two black men in like the leading roles or whatever.
That's true. That's
And he
interesting.
thought that the way
Because
he
we got
played
blacklisted.
Morpheus was perfect. Yeah, I mean that's just what he
Because I was
said.
gonna say if Will Smith had been in the movie, it would have just been a black movie and no one would have gone to see it.
And it wouldn't have sold as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd have
Yeah,
been like
he was saying that they definitely would have like replaced Lawrence Fishburne.
That's crazy.
But
Instead, he filmed a movie in my hometown with
the
Wild
cowboy
Wild
movie,
West.
yeah,
Yeah,
I heard
Wild
about
Wild
that.
West was filmed in my hometown.
they got a good soundtrack for that movie. It's a good soundtrack. Didn't think it was
That like ruined his career for a minute, didn't it?
Maybe I'll watch that like for New Year's.
Is there any ruining Will Smith's career though? I
Yes,
mean, he's
He's
yes.
always
trying
going
his
to come
best.
Oh
back.
my
I
god.
swear.
No, he did. I have a huge theory that he like you can sell yourself to the devil, but he tried to sell Jaden Smith when he did After Earth in like the worst movie I've ever seen. Like his son got the leading role and was just so terrible, like so bad. And
Y'all
he's
need
one
to
of my
stop
Will
hating on
Smith's one of
Jaden
my
Smith.
favorite actors, but like that movie, he's never had the career that he's had since then.
That's his fault.
I believe in redemption. I think with the production of the new the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I don't know if you've seen the trailer of that.
They're doing a
Wait,
thing
what?
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they're doing the reunion,
Mhm.
but no, they're rebooting it because this guy did a fanfic thing, and I
saw
heard
that,
you guys
yeah.
talking about that. Like he did that. That guy is actually starring in it, and
Wow.
Will Smith is producing it because he was like, "All right, you actually have a different take on this story." Yeah, man, look it up. It's the trailer is nuts, but Will Smith is doing it, and they're doing the reunion, and they're bringing back the real Aunt Viv. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I thought Gemini Man was a terrible movie. Okay, and Will Smith did a terrible job acting. But what I'll say is that POV version of them driving on a motorcycle and people doing like um, shooting from the POV version was so cool. It's like they should do more movies like that. Yeah, no, I don't know if you guys see Gemini Man, but it's a movie.
I
You know?
haven't. I'm look, man. The real bad actor who gets great roles, and I will watch every one of his films, is Keanu Reeves. So that brings it all
Oh,
back to the Matrix. I'm like, I'll watch whatever he
I
does
loved him.
because Constantine. I'm still like, yeah, you can't even deliver these lines, but I can't take my eyes off this film. I got a question. Actually, Grandpa, tell me what do you listen to? First of all, like, give me your. We're gonna keep it like
Are you
high
referring to
fidelity.
music or television or what? What?
Like think of like there. My favorite book of all time is High Fidelity, but it's top 5 records of all time. Think, what are your top 5 records or recording artists or songs, whatever, but
Well, I like
music.
I like Sinatra because I think he's got great bands, great music. American Songbook. I love Ray Charles. I love Gladys Knight. I can't really limit it down to 5 because there's so many people there that James Ingram. Um, there's just so many great artists, that I enjoy. Stevie Wonder. Uh, uh, are you familiar with the Django All Stars? They're guitarists. The Django All Star. No. Um, there's just so many wonderful artists. I like Dean Martin, and I like Sammy Davis Jr. is probably my most favorite entertainer of all times. He could do everything: sing, dance, do magic, play almost every instrument well. Um, there's just so many different people that I really enjoy. Do you do any composing yourself?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, composing in that I write every song on my records.
Oh, you do
Everything
write,
is written by me, but I can't read or write music really, like
but
actually physically writing it out.
do you do the lyrics and the music?
Of course,
Nice.
But you don't read music.
can't. No,
Yeah, and some of the greatest artists like I'm trying to think.
Jimi Hendrix.
Earl Garner doesn't read music. Do you know who
actually,
Earl
that's going to be my daughter's name is Hendrix.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's delightful.
Yeah, Hendrix Janelle.
That's really pretty.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I think that music is it's a feeling, and some of us are lucky enough to get to that level, but then there are the people who just take it next level. I think the best musician of all time, really, like, or at least in rock music or pop, was Prince. Like,
Oh yeah.
all around the greatest musician. And I think the greatest guitarist was Hendrix, and there would be no Prince without Hendrix. But Prince just, I'm done, like, with what he could do.
Yeah.
The way he even looked at his song is nuts.
I listened to some of his demos the other day. Him like playing piano, just going up to sit up to sit up at the piano, just playing music and just killing it. Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah,
I'm a
he's
fan.
great.
Nat King Cole is a great musician.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's fabulous. And he could
Yeah.
play anything. We had a
Yeah.
fella come to Philadelphia who played at the Museum of Art. He's from Holland, and it's funny I can't remember his name right now, but it's marvelous. There's so many great jazz musicians that I love to listen to, and I enjoy Prince. And
So wait, Grandpa, you're in Philly.
I'm in Philly, right?
So then you know Sister Sledge, right?
No,
Wait, anybody know who Sister Sledge is?
That sounds really familiar.
I do not. I'm gonna
Yeah,
look it up.
and now all of a sudden you all looking it
Computer,
up.
calculate.
Sister Sledge.
I'm sure my parents have brought it up. I'm sure someone near and
Yeah,
near a
Philly?
loved one. Yeah.
Me and my dad well, my dad for sure. Me and him are music heads, and I don't know. Maybe he probably knows maybe about them, but I don't
I
know.
bet he does.
Yeah, they were produced by their first album was produced by a guy named Nile Rodgers. Nile Rodgers is probably one of the greatest. Well, he is the greatest funk guitarist of all time, having done so many different albums, working from Diana
Oh,
Ross
yeah,
and
I know
all
who
that.
this. I know
Oh,
who
now
this.
you know who they are because you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
what their
the
hits are.
We Are Family. Yeah, these songs that I'm like, okay, clearly, yeah. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know who they are, but I know I've heard these songs before.
yeah. We Are Family. He's the greatest dancer, or what is it? Getting Jiggy with It was
Mhm.
based on Sister Sledge, so that
Mm.
made sense for Will Smith. But actually, they live out here. I lost my virginity to one of the sisters Sledge's daughters. So, but yeah, man, they're out here. It's that old kind of soul in Philly, like Philly. I mean, you guys had Hall and Oates out in Philly, and like Sarah's Smile is one of the best songs that I have ever heard. Like whatever else Hall and Oates has done, there's that song, and it's all that Philly soul. So
Wow.
yeah.
I like the Roots.
Oh yeah, and of course, and I've run into Questlove 3 times in my life.
That's a blessing.
Damn. What?
From being from Arizona, yeah, I ran into him at the airport, and I had an afro, and I was like, and Questlove just saw me do whatever, and he was like super nice. Saw him when he was at the Late Show with Jimmy Fallon, and then ran into him in a club in London where he was DJing, of all places.
Wow.
Damn.
But yeah, sometimes you get
At that point, I'd be like,
Steve, have
sir.
you heard of the Django Reinhardt?
I have not.
Okay, he's a famous guitarist. You might want to listen to him. He's part of the Django All Stars, and he's excellent. The Django Reinhardt, or Reinhardt. You know, you guys
Steven.
are all familiar with the newer artists, and I'm kind of familiar with the older ones. So.
Yeah, I wish you were on 2 weeks ago. We had a whole music episode. Would have been.
Doesn't mean you can't do another one, man.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Phines doesn't mean we can't do another one.
Yeah, man. I grew up on bands that would, I mean, Grandpa, you probably couldn't listen to them because they'll give you a heart attack. I mean, At the Drive-In, the Mars Volta, Quicksand, then of course Metallica, Thrice, Thursday,
You ever
like
been
all
in
these.
a mosh pit?
Well, I'm
Of
familiar with
course,
like, Thelonious Monk. Do you know who he is?
of course.
Yeah.
Al Hibbler, Screaming Jay Hawkins. I'm going,
You'll have to see the record collection we have at this house. We have we have over 1,000 records in here, just a couple feet away from me. But yeah, man, you
Vinyl?
should do another Lionel Richie.
No,
What?
he said vinyl. He said
Oh,
vinyl.
vinyl. Oh yeah, vinyl. All vinyl.
All vinyl.
And we have Lionel Richie. We have Lionel on vinyl.
Lionel
That's
vinyl.
yeah. There we go. Yes.
Wow.
I have a couple Lionel Richie records, but my dad has the records too. But I was gonna say I read during quarantine. I read a book on John Coltrane and did a deep dive on him, and that was pretty cool. About my jazz, talking to Grandpa about musicians. I listened to a lot of Miles Davis and John Coltrane, and went into that world. I didn't know so many jazz musicians were communists. I had no clue. That was brand new to me. And jazz cigarettes is marijuana. I had no clue.
You didn't know that?
I mean, I do now.
You didn't know that? And now all of a sudden, now and I already know what's on your playlist tonight. It's going to be like "To Pimp a Butterfly" by Kendrick Lamar, and you're going to have it all figured out.
I'm like, wow, look at print. Oh my God, it's all going to come together. I'm like, wow, this is like.
Can you play better if you're high or you're not high?
That's a funny question because I have never been high in my life.
See?
I have never smoked weed. I've never
Neither
done.
has Grandpa.
Pardon?
Neither has Grandpa.
So you've never smoked weed in your life, Grandpa?
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that. I'm saying I never have. I'm like the only person I know who hasn't.
It's because you used to be a Mormon. What? No,
But at a certain point, you have a great track record going,
and you
and
just
then
be
you
like,
go, well, all right. So I have my conditions to when I would smoke weed, where I'm like, all right, if Bob Marley's playing and the sun is going down, I'm in Jamaica, or I'm in Amsterdam and the sun is going down by the canal. And I'm like, because I just don't, I mean, yeah, I have no problem with it. I'm glad it's legal here in Arizona now.
But dust is
Yeah,
a big factor.
yeah. Well,
Private
yeah,
hour is very important.
yeah. I want it to be a special moment. It's like losing my virginity all over again
There you go.
yeah.
instead of in a dorm room at Arizona State.
You gotta
Um,
hit up the what is it? The Sludge Hammer Sisters or whatever. What is
this
the
The
band name?
sister
Sister
sledge.
Sledge.
The
Sister Sledge. My bad. My
Your
bad.
crew's gonna give you your crew's gonna give you
I'm gonna get
trouble,
a
man.
lot of
Once you
shit.
Respect
hear
your
it, once you
privilege.
hear it, man, like
Hammer sister.
think about getting jiggy with it. That
I'll
is
listen.
Sister
I'll
Yeah.
check
Sledge.
it out.
That's
Sister
It's
hilarious.
Sledge.
Oh man, it's one of the greatest riffs ever, man.
Hey,
Now Rogers.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Jimi Hendrix Experience. You've played it many of times.
Of course.
Yeah. This is all. It's just about drugs a little bit. A little.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything he did, he
Yeah,
saw
you're right.
color.
That's true.
I'm naming my daughter after the guy. I already know kind of what I'm getting into. But
Exactly.
This game.
like, who doesn't want to hang out with a little black girl named Hendrix?
He
Like,
said, "You knew,
we're
not
good.
me."
That's hilarious.
I know the trouble that I'm kind of getting into, but she's got a couple of toys that she gets to play with back here.
Yeah, that should be great. Be fine. No one needs drugs. High on life.
Are you gonna push her into being a musician or singing, go in that direction?
I think that she's going to end up, especially with her mom, with her mom's entire line is one of them being an executive, a vice president at Atlantic Records way back in the day before he passed. I think that with that line and my dad being a DJ,
It is her destiny.
it's just one of those things. Now, do I expect her to be Beyonce? No, but I think that she'll always have that music and that interest in music, and hopefully she becomes a lawyer to make me a retirement fund
Mhm.
and be able to just let me make weird albums and whatever, or she becomes a rock star. Either way, but yeah, she'll definitely have an interest in music. I don't think that there's
Yeah,
any
I
way she
think
couldn't.
it's really lucky to grow up with that. Probably super lucky.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, as long
I
as we
mean,
have water in Arizona.
you grew up with it, right?
Um, I found it on my own.
Okay.
Like because I didn't know my dad. I just knew that I had this drive for music.
Gotcha.
So I was obsessive, like at what 5 years old. Like I had a cassette tape of Thriller, and I just wore through that cassette tape. And I didn't really know why I loved music so much. I just knew that I loved it. I never thought that I would be. I never thought that I would own more than one guitar. The first guitar I bought is the Strat right there. Sorry, it's hard on Zoom.
You still
But
have it. Holy shit.
yeah, man, that's a 1974 Fender Strat.
Wow.
Bought it in 1994. But yeah, I mean, it's. I didn't know how to play it. Taught myself how to play it. I don't know where that drive came from, except that I'm like, that's my father's influence.
I hope you have a lot of insurance on it.
Yeah. I actually, I mean, it's a heavily modified 1974 Strat, but yeah, it's got its separate little
I
policy.
know they're expensive. I know.
especially because it's close to that door. And I'm like, someone breaks that door, grabs that. If they grab that guitar, yeah.
Where do you live? What's your address?
Uh,
On that, I think we should start wrapping up. You got any last thoughts, Steven?
No. I think it's actually just been a fun Wednesday for me. So,
Yeah.
if you guys want to record anything in the future, I'd love to step in. I've had a lot of fun. Obviously, I go through a lot of different subjects, and
Oh, so do
you
we,
know,
for real.
Yeah.
yeah. But no, it's awesome, man. You guys are cool, man.
oh
So
man,
Yeah.
hopefully we can do a music episode. Like I want that, and I want the
Yeah.
high fidelity top 5 albums, records, whatever. You guys pick it.
that sounds fun.
All you have to do is
I would
convince
enjoy.
Finest for a music episode, and I'm down.
Maybe
Look,
we'll just
there's nothing wrong with. I just don't want to sit here for 2 hours watching people play a song. No offense to them, they're great artists, but it's hard to be an Odyssey member. You got to smile and clap.
maybe we can just
it's
do like a
emotionally
musical
exhausting.
guest at the end of
We
a
should get
music
them.
episode.
Maybe, yeah, that's better. Like if you split them up, let me talk to the musician about music. But I don't want. It's just. I don't want to sit there.
Wait. Funness, have you not seen High Fidelity? Have you ever seen the show High
You know what's
Fidelity,
funny?
the movie High Fidelity, any of that?
You know what's funny is it's one of my most played playlists on Spotify, but I've never seen the show because I love the soundtrack though. It does have a really good. But I haven't seen the
Just
show. I don't
watch
have.
the movie. Watch the movie with John Cusack, and that's the type of episode where you have a top 5 list, and it's just people being critics and people going, "This is what I love and
Yeah,
why."
see,
That episode, book
we need
me.
to talk
I'm
to
ready.
Brandon. That's what you talk about. Don't talk about the music thing. I don't want to be at a concert via
Yeah.
Zoom.
No. It's not a concert. It's just sitting there talking about music, going, "This is why I like these 5 records or these 5 songs, top 5 songs to play on a Monday morning, whatever it is." That's the top 5 list is always the hardest list to make, and then
Yeah.
we get Grandpa talking about I don't know, Tony Bennett. I'm all about it. By the way, still
songs in
the
the key of
3rd
life.
best show I've ever seen. Tony Bennett live in Las Vegas, New Year's Day, 1999. Guy killed it. Still have that ticket somewhere.
I think my favorite album is Songs in the Key of Life is probably my hands down favorite album.
Yeah, we have 3 copies of that in the house, actually.
And it's just
On
dope.
vinyl.
But NBA draft has already started tonight.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm about to go watch that. Pacers 54th pick.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah, we just picked up CP3, so the
Oh.
Suns are we're embracing mediocrity right now. We're completely happy with
You guys are
being.
gonna make the playoffs. You're gonna make the playoffs next year, for sure.
Watch, we will find a way to screw that up. Trust me.
Any quick last thoughts, Finest, Grandpa, Sierra?
Did we already ask the vaccine question?
To Steven?
Yeah, Steven.
Yeah.
Steven, vaccine comes out tomorrow. You taking it?
Yeah, sure. As long as the FDA approves it, and Pfizer's going to make their money anyway. But I would rather be happy and free. So sure, whatever.
Boom. And that's our show. I want to thank our amazing guests today. We had Elsa and Steven on. I'm so happy y'all came. For real, this was like one of my favorite interviews. Yeah, I think we did 45 an hour. It's amazing. As always, thank you so much, Finest, amazing producer Sierra, and Grandpa.
Yes.
I love you.
I wish I could give you a hug.
Oh boy, yeah, I know, for real.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tomorrow when the vaccine comes out.
Yeah.
Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, and you're a very interesting guest, Steve.
Thank you so much, Grandpa.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Podcasting with Grandpa Bart and Rosie, always on his shoulder. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Grandpa and Chill is brought to you by your hosts, Brandon Fox, Bart Frank, and Finest Jackson. Our producer is Sierra Doss. You can find episodes old and new on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the show, and follow us on Twitter for behind-the-scenes moments you can't get anywhere else.